Hello students, this is Anu, your commerce teacher. Through online class, we are going to see the first lesson in commerce. The first lesson is about management process. In that management process, some of the contents as well as sub-contents are given. First one is principles of management. Under this content, some of the sub-contents are given. They are concept of management, definitions of management, management versus administration, management process, principles of scientific management, and principles of modern management. The second content is functions of management. Under this, the two sub-contents are given. They are main functions and subsidiary functions. The third content is management by objectives, MBO, and management by exception, MBE. Under this, some sub-contents are given. They are meaning and definition of MBO, objectives of MBO, features of MBO, process of MBO, advantages of MBO, disadvantages of MBO, meaning of MBE, process of MBE, advantages and disadvantages of MBE. Now we are going to see about management process. Management process means how the process is going on in the management, how the business is taken over by the manager, employer, worker, and how they are executing their plans to achieve their goals. Everything will be determined in the management process. Under this management process, we are going to see the principles of management. Now, let us discuss about the topic principles of management. Some of the objectives are given. They are concept of management, definitions of management, management and art or science, management versus administration, management process or functions, principles of scientific management, principles of modern management, and span of management. The first thing we have to know about what is management. Management is part and parcel of our day-to-day life. Moreover, this management takes place not only in business but also in every circumstances. For example, while doing teamwork, group discussion, or classroom activities, the practice of management is necessary. It will help in goal-oriented process. For example, if we take any school or institution, the entire process is taken over by the control of management. So without management, the school or institution could not run. The same thing, the success of the business is decided by the how they manage their functions, duties, and even their responsibilities. Now we are going to see about the concept of management. The first concept is body of knowledge. Nowadays, management literature is growing in all countries. So when we enter into the business, we should have some awareness about the business, how it should be handled. Management knowledge is the best key to enter into the world of employment in business world. So body of knowledge is the main concept of management. The second thing is management tools. When we run the business, we should know whether the business goes in good way or it is struggling. For that purpose, we have to maintain accountancy, business law, psychology, statistics, econometrics, data processing, etc. because this will make a way to achieve our target. The third one is separate discipline. Many universities and some institutions of higher learning are recognized as a separate discipline. Nowadays, in colleges, they are offering separate master degree in business management and administration. This will be useful for the new candidates when they enter into the new business. For that, the institution will come forward for conducting seminars, special courses, training programs, etc. to give a better knowledge to do a business. The fourth one is specialization. Specialization means it is easy and possible to select highly qualified, trained and experienced persons with the help of experts and professionals. These experts, they will be selecting the perfect candidate to manage the business in particular field. The next one is code of conduct. In this code of conduct, the enlightened businessman not only give preference for the business, but also they will fulfill their social responsibilities towards customers, employees, and public. Moreover, buyer beware was ruling over the market. Now at present, seller beware also taken place for influencing market practices. The final one is professional association. It means to spread the knowledge of management in several countries that will build up the public image of their position. The next one is definitions of management. Under this, the first one is generalized definitions of management. Generally, management means it's an ongoing process which has been given by human and economic resources through planning, organizing, directing and controlling. It is for the purpose of achieving their desires. This definition includes 5 thoughts of principal ideas of school of management. The first one is functional school. It processes only the planning, organizing, directing and controlling. That is the functional school. The next one is behavioral school. Behavioral school not only involved in the or interest in the process but also in the way how the process affects the organization. That also will be recognized by the behavioral school. The next one is quantitative school. Its purpose is to improve the decision making and also to fulfill their objectives. The next one is in system approach. It concentrates on entire organization. That is, it inputs the works, then process it, and then it desires its results through output. The final approach is contingency approach. Contingency approach means it emphasizes dynamic nature of management process in an ever-changing business environment. These are the 5 approaches given under management. The next heading is precise definitions of management. Precise means exact meaning of management. In this process, the implies on ongoing cyclical operation. In management, we follow the method of planning, action and control. If we are doing the business, first thing we should plan. After that, acting of work will takes place and it is to be controlled, and finally the exact results will be controlled. And it has said that management is a social process which is directly concerned with managing the human resources to secure cooperation and teamwork. Without teamwork and cooperation, none of the business will get in a good process. So while doing management, the teamwork and cooperation is much essential. The next one is, 2 authors have described something about precise definitions of management. The first author is, according to Henry Fayol, the manager has to manage, to forecast, to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and to control the business. The next author has said that, according to Peter F. Drucker, management is a multi-purpose organ which manages business, which manages manager and which manages worker. Here, Peter F. Drucker has stresses 3 jobs of management. The first one is managing a business, managing manager, managing worker and work. Even if one is omitted, then there is no management anymore. The entire responsible goes to manager and he has to integrate 3 jobs of business enterprises. Without efficient management, it could not give best allocation and utilization of human and material and financial resources. The next topic is about management is an art or science. There is always a discussion whether the management is art or science. Finally, it is concluded that management is an inexact science, because in pure science the principles are to be tested in laboratory and it is proved or disproved. But management principles can put to test in organization where men, machine, money and materials are integrated together to achieve organizational goals. At the same time, if the 4 M's are not flexible, it is concluded that management is an inexact science. So everyone believes that management is an art. Art means it includes learning of skills and practicing day-to-day life. But the concept of management involves required skills, but it may be vary from one person to another person. So it is clearly concluded that the management is neither science and nor arts, but it is the combination of the both. but we could not say it is the management is an art or science. It is only the combination of both. We could not say it in a exact way. The next heading is management is differ from administration. Moreover, we think that management and administration are not same. These are interchangeably used in the business. Management is about to make a plan and actions, whereas administration is for framing policies and setting objectives. Here, two persons will be involved in this management and administration. One is manager who looks after the management, whereas the other is administrator who is responsible for the administration of the business. And also management focus only on managing the people and work, and the business decisions will be taken over by the administration. Commonly, it is said that manager who works at the topmost level is called to be as an administration, whereas the manager who works at the middle or lower level is called management. These are the differences. The next topic is comparison of management and administration has given. First one is meaning. Management means it manages the people and things of the business. But administration means the process of administering the organization by group of people. In management, the authority is middle and lower level. In administration, it is top level. The role in management is executive, and in administration, it is decisive. In management, they decide who will do the work and how will it be done. In administration, they decide what should be done and when should be done. In management, it focuses on managing work, and in administration, it make best possible allocation. And in administration, the key person is administrator, and in management, the key person is manager. So, these are the differences between the management and administration. The next heading is management is coordination. That means the manager should coordinate with all activities in the organization, namely men, machine, money and material. Management is a process. Management is a process of planning, organizing, staffing, controlling and directing. The third one is management is a purposive process. While doing the business, there should be a plan to reach the destination. Without any destination, we could not reach our goal. The fourth one is management is a social process. It is a process of art of getting things done through other people. By the support of other people, it is easy to run the management process. The next one is management is a cyclical process. It represents planning, action, control, replanning cycle. That is, it's an ongoing process. The next heading is principles of scientific management. In the last century itself, organization already had to deal with management in practice. At the time, there were only few external management tools, models and methods available. At this juncture, Mr. Frederick Winslow Taylor, who has brought a scientific approach to managing the workforce. Some of the principles of scientific management has given. The first one is science not rule of thumb, harmony not discord, mental revolution, cooperation not individualism, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. First, we are going to see about science not rule of thumb. Rule of thumb means decisions taken by manager as per their personal judgments. This will help in saving time as well as human energy. This principle is concerned with selecting the best way of performing a job through the application of scientific analysis and not by intuition or hit and trial methods. The work assigned to any employee should be observed and analyzed with respect to each element or part, therefore, and the time involved, and the best way of performing that work will be determined as a standard output. The next heading is harmony not discord. Taylor is a person who's the main head of this principle. He has emphasized that there should be a complete harmony between the workers and the management. Both the management and the workers should realize the importance of each other. Moreover, in every organization, there are two groups of people, that is workers and management, and both always feel dissatisfied with each other. Workers always feel that they are overburdened and are underpaid. Management always feels that workers are good for nothing and are paid unnecessarily. So there should be a good understanding between them. It becomes possible by sharing a part of surplus with workers, training of employees, division of work, team spirit, sense of discipline, sincerity, etc. This will make making the person to do a good work. Management always should be ready to share the gains of the company with the workers, and the latter should provide their full cooperation and hard work for them. Next one is mental revolution. In this, both the management and the workers realize the importance of each other and they do their work in full cooperation. Here, workers, they will put their best efforts to the company. On the other hand, management will share up profits to the workers for their work. The next heading is cooperation, not individualism. In this topic itself, we can understood there is always a need of cooperation. Here also, it has said that the management and the workers should realize the importance of each other. Workers also to be treated as part of management when the management takes any decision. There will be always a proper division of work and responsibility between the two. Management should always guide, encourage and help the workers. The next heading is development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. Here, efficiency of any organization always depends on the skills and capabilities of its employees. To attain the efficiency, steps should be taken right from the process of selection of employees. Employees should be scientifically selected. The correct person should be the right person should be chosen for particular field. Efficiency employees produce more to earn more. This ultimately helps to attain efficiency and prosperity for both organization as well as for the employees. The next topic is principles of modern management. The father of modern management is Mr. Henry Fayol. 14 major principles of management has been given by him, in which every manager has to practice for the success of the business. The first one is division of work. In division of work, all the activities should be divided. Each person will have different tasks according to their skills, so that the burden will be shared among them and thus the work will be completed easily. The second one is authority and responsibility. The superior will give the orders to his subordinates. The superior means manager and subordinate means worker, whereas responsibility means obligations for performance. The third one is discipline. There should be obedience and proper conduct in relation to others. It is essential for the smooth functioning of all organization. The fourth one is unity of command. Each subordinate should receive order from only one boss. If he receives orders from more than one superior, it creates confusion. The next one is unity of direction. There should be one plan of action for them and they should be under the control of one manager. More than one manager is not necessary. The sixth one is subordination of individual interest to mutual interest. The interest of goals of the organization must prevail over the personal interest of their individuals. The next one is remuneration. Remuneration means wages or salary. It should be given to the employees in a reasonable way and should give reward for their effort. The next one is degree of centralization. Decision making was taken up by the top management and the management authority depends on the company size. The next one is line of authority. The principle suggests that there should be a clear line of authority from top to bottom. Then only it will comes in good way. The next one is orders. Orders should be acceptable and under the rules of the company, and it should be safe for the workplace. The next one is equity. Managers should be fair and impartial when dealing with employees. Employees must be treated in a kind way. The final one is stability of tenure of personnel. In this, the principle states that it should be stable to run the business. If it is not stable, it is not easy to run the business in a smooth way. So, while we are doing all this, you have to be in a good sense that modern management will comes under the way of division of work, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, remuneration, order, equity. These are all the things we have to follow. Next one is initiative. Initiative means providing new and better ideas by the employees for the purpose of running the organization. The next one is team spirit. In that name itself, we can conclude that each work should be done under the team process. Team spirit is to develop mutual trust and understanding. Thus, it helps to finish the task on time. The next one is, these are the 14 principles of modern management. The next one is span of management. No executive in the organization should be required to supervise more subordinates than he can effectively manage. A superior should be asked to appoint a reasonable number of subordinates. Thus, they can avoid so many conflicts and confusion. One superior is necessary, thus they no need to pay extra wages. Similarly, limited subordinates are necessary. Thus, they will not have any lack in coordination and control. Thus, they can have a smooth relationship between the manager and the subordinates. If there are large number of subordinates, it is not necessary to manage. Thus, limited subordinates, they feel relaxed and they develop their independent spirits in a free work environment. In this management process, next we are going to see functions of management. Two objectives are given. The one is various functions of management. The other one is significance of functions of management. Functions of management. Management functions is differ from 19th century to 20th century. In this lesson, how the management functions is processing in the 20th century can be studied. Management functions are also called as management process, where this process works for 24 hours for reaching the highest level. Under this functions of management, it has been classified into two categories. The first one is main function, the other one is subsidiary functions. So, these are the two functions which will be studied in this lesson. Mainly, the management process has taken place in these two functions only. Now, we are going to see about main functions. Main functions includes planning, organizing, staffing, directing, motivating, controlling and coordination. First one is planning. Planning is the primary function of management. Planning refers to deciding in advance itself. Planning should take place before doing. Most individual or group efforts are made by determining their action of what shall be done, how to do, who will do. All these should be planned first. After planning, we have to go for organizing. Organizing is the process of establishing harmonious relationship between the members of an organization. The work is assigned to the employees who carry out the work and made accountable for it. Then the next step is staffing. Staffing means choosing a right person in the right jobs. Staffing includes selection of right person, training to those needy person, promotion of best person, retirement of old persons, etc. The success of any enterprise depends upon the successful performance of the staffing function. So, the planning and the organizing and staffing is the main important point. The next one is directing. Directing denotes motivating, leading, guiding and communicating with the subordinates to reach their preset goals. Employees are informed to do the work through meetings, circulars, newspapers, notice board, etc. The next one is controlling. Controlling is performed to evaluate the performance of the employees and deciding the increments and promotion decisions of the workers, and these will comes under the controlling. The next one is coordination. Coordination is necessary for all types of work. Without coordination, the given work could not be get complete. Coordination will leads to attain the successful of the business. The final one is motivating. Each time we have to motivate our employees. By motivating them, they get interest and show willingness to do the work. Thus, the goals are achieved with the help of motivation. Next, we are going to see about subsidiary functions. First one is innovation. Innovation means innovating new ideas and making changes in the business world. Innovation includes to develop a new material, new products, new package, new design, etc. for the development of the welfare of the business. Thus, for new types of innovations, it will be useful and the consumers are also will be satisfied through the innovation. The continuous changes will be useful and it will be good and brings a successful for the business. The next one is representation. A manager has to act as a representative of a company. Manager has dealing with customers, suppliers, government officials, banks, etc. And it is the duty of every manager to have a good relationship with others. The next heading is decision making. Every employee of an organization has to take a number of decisions every day. Decision making helps to run the business in a smooth way. The final one is communication. Communicating with one another will transform the information from one person to another person. So the workers are informed about what should be done, where it is to be done, and how it is to be done, and when it is to be done. Everything will be communicated from one person to another person. Thus, they will be getting an idea, or else they will be struggling with their work. So, in management process, the next lesson is about management by objectives and management by exception. Now we can see the meaning and definition of management by objectives. Management by objectives is a management system in which each member of the organization should participate and involve himself. This MBO harmonizes the goal of an individual with an organizational goal. In this MBO, both the superior and the subordinates should work together to achieve their goals with their future plan. Some of the objectives are given. They are easy to measure and judge the performance. Second one, individual performance related to organizational goals. The third one, there will be a communication between the superior and subordinate. The fourth one is subordinates' motivation can be stimulated. And the last one is to clarify the given job to be done. These are the objectives of MBO. Some of the features of MBO are given. MBO will combine the long run goals with the short run goals. The second point is management tries to relate the organizational goals with society goals. It emphasizes not only on goals but for giving on effective performance. The given exercise of work can be replaced by consulting with themselves because it increases the capability to achieve their goals at all levels. These are the features of MBO. Now we are going to see about process of MBO. First point, defining organization objectives. Top level employees, they will frame the organizational objectives and it states why the business is started and why it is exists. They frame both long-term objectives as well as short-term objectives as per their company's work. The next one is goal of each section. In this division of work, each section have different types of works in different departments. Thus, each section expresses their goals or objectives in a meaningful manner. That is called to be as a goal of each section. The third one is fixing a key result area. Key result area indicates the strength of an organization. It is arranged on a priority basis. Some of the examples of KRA are given. They are profitability, market standing, innovation, etc. These are the examples of KRA. The next topic is setting subordinate objectives or targets. While doing the business, the superior and the subordinates should have a free and frank discussion about the business. The superior should allow the subordinates to set high standards of work. In this way, the objectives or targets of the subordinates are fixed. The next one is matching resource with objective. While doing the business, certain resources are need to be properly allocated and utilized. If those resources are not adequately available, the objectives of an organization are changed accordingly. The next one is periodical review meeting. Periodical review meeting of superior and the subordinate should be held during the period set for achieving their business objectives. And the next one is appraisal of activities. At the end of the fixed period of achieving the objectives, there should be a communication between the superior and the subordinates. What are the failures and the problems are faced by the subordinates should be identified, and some steps should be taken to solve such problems. The next one is reappraisal of objectives. The organization work will not be same in all time. Certain changes to be done. The modern business organization largely depends upon putting up the changing conditions. So accordingly to that, they frame the objectives for the business. These are the process of MBO. The next one is advantages of MBO. The first point is MBO helps the managers to understand their role in the organization. Manager recognizes for planning and appreciates the planning. The department does not work at cross purpose with another department. The responsibility of worker is fixed. Finally, the decision is taken by management very quickly. These are the advantages of MBO. The next is disadvantages of MBO. MBO is a time-consuming process. Much time is needed for framing MBO and also heavy expenditure, and it requires heavy paperwork also. If the changes are not done in objectives, the planned results will not be obtained. These are the disadvantages of MBO. The next thing is management by exception. Management by exception is a style of business management that focuses on identifying and handling cases that deviate from the norm. The next one is process of MBE. Primarily, it is necessary to set objectives or norms. These performances are assessed and get equated to the actual performance. Then the deviation gets analyzed. After that, the issue needs to be passed to the senior managers as an exception has occurred. The next one is advantages of MBE. It saves the time of managers and also the routine problems are left to subordinates. The next thing is it focuses on managerial attention on major problems. As a result, there is better utilization of managerial talents and energy. And also it forces managers to review past history and study related business data for identifying the deviations. Management by exception provides better yardsticks for judging the results. These are the advantages of MBE. The next one is disadvantages of MBE. The main disadvantages of MBE is only manager have the power over really important decisions which can be demotivating for employees. They are not given preference for the employees. That is the only problem. The next thing is it takes time to pass the issue to managers. So some candidates find themselves with limited job duties and they were not satisfied with their present duties, and ultimately they comes to a decision to be